Dale Finucane. It's called Stumps. Unfortunately, his career's come to an end in a way that no one wanted to see. Repeated medical episodes, mainly concussions, have seen him retire. What are your thoughts on Dale the player? What's he meant to the Sharks?
I mean, Dale the player is phenomenal. He is like I'm trying to think of another player, and it's not coming to my mind at the moment. But every year that he played rugby league, he was in the finals, and that's not an accident.
No.
Every year that Dale Finucane played rugby league, he played at least one finals game. Put that into context. Luke Brooks has never played a finals game. I just want to get that shot out there.
Completely fair.
But yeah, it's like he's a winner. You know, he's 2 premierships. He's played multiple state of origins and one origin series. Here's a shock to you, though, Dan, because it was a shock for me as well. He never, ever played for Australia.
Wow, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Not one cap for Australia. Played 5 origins. He played for country 4 times. Has a career win record of just shy of 70%.
That's incredible in this day and age.
I know. And so, you know, played 2 grand finals at Canterbury. He lost, you know, a premiership against the Sharks. And then the following year, he got his grand final, his premiership with the Melbourne Storm against North Queensland Cowboys. And then obviously they were the team that knocked off this Penrith juggernaut in a grand final as well. So 2-time premiership winner. I love Dale Finucane as the player, and when we signed him, I was so positive about it. I did think that the 4 years was one too many, but that's what we needed to pay to get him over the line. He hasn't retired at his own accord, but like you can just tell, right? Like and this is the type of player that he is. Like his body's on the line. There's that meme going around of his head busted, the cauliflower ears, the blood dripping down his face, and at the time it's funny, but it's not. You know, this is a guy who's now been told that he can't play rugby league anymore because he's got headaches and he can't remember things, and his speech is starting to go. So I'm going to miss him. He came to Cronulla for a purpose, and that was to get the culture back, and that was to help bring in and establish a culture that Craig Fitzgibbon was looking to build and has built at the club now. And I'm really, really glad in the release that Cronulla said that he won't be lost to the club. He'll still be there. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We're not going to lose Dale Finucane to the game, and we're not going to lose him to the club of Cronulla as well. Look, he played his 250th game at Cronulla. It was a win, which is great news. It was against the Bulldogs, ironically, the team that he debuted against. I'm kind of somber. You know, like...
It sucks.
You and I have been on Fins Up, our own podcast, the Shark-related podcast, saying that, well, the way that the team's running at the moment and the way the forwards are playing, there's no spot for Dale Finucane back in the team. He's the ultimate 18th man. Mm-hmm. And now you're sitting here saying, Dale Finucane's never going to play another game at the club. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen. I was hoping that we would legitimately name him the 18th man, and he would be the player to come into the team if Cam McInnes actually makes the Origin team, or someone gets injured or someone gets suspended. That's where you bring Dale Finucane in. But to now not have that safety net of a fallback of a player like Dale Finucane kind of hurts, man. Kind of hurts.
It does. And you're right. It's a somber day. I mean, you never want to see champion players retire, especially under these circumstances. Just speaking purely as a Cronulla fan, when we signed him, I was over the moon. You know, other than Nico Hines signing, it was way up there. And it's don't let the last year and a half fool you. There's a lot of fans online that he's broken. He was never going to see the 4 years. This is a bloke who would literally die for the football team that he's getting paid to represent, and he played like that. His body broke down, as it does when you play 250 games in the middle forwards or out wide as he did. He's not the player that we signed, and that's why, obvious reasons, he's had to medically retire because of repeated concussions. This is a bloke that came into Cronulla, and we had the worst middle defence in the competition. It was deplorable. And you broke down the stats. You had pages and pages of stats of how much we'd improved, all because of Dale Finucane coming in. When he left the field, it went to, turned into wet tissue paper again. As soon as he came back, it shored up. Finucane was an amazing signing, and he's helped initiate a club culture change. It sounds funny saying that with Trindle doing what he did. But overall, the Sharks now are in far better position than they were before he arrived. And there's no coincidence that Craig Fitzgibbon targeted him big time. Paid him what he wanted. Very club friendly next year, which shows you the kind of guy he is. He didn't insist on 4 years at full freight. He's give me 3 and we'll see how we go in the 4th. He's the exact bloke we needed. Unfortunately, his body let him down and he couldn't contribute to where he was. But it wasn't always about that. It was about leading the line at training. It was about being the first man there, the last man to leave. It's about the young players, the Jess Colquhouns, the Tom Hazeltons, even, Williams, Hunt, Kafusi, saying, hey, Dale, teach us how you get ready for games. How have you lasted 250 games, etc.? So, really, really sad day. Really sorry to see him go. I'm glad to see him go out somewhat on his own terms and not get carted off and not be afforded the chance to front the media. I thought that was fantastic. And I got to say, to have all the Sharks there to stand and applaud him just shows you what he does mean to the club. He's only been there 2 years. It's not like he's a 200-game Shark. I'm absolutely shattered for him. I 100% want him to stay around the club. It sounds like that's going to happen, which is imperative as far as I'm concerned. If you need a bloke, if he's up to it, who can be the liaison between the media and the club, or who can take the young players, it's Dale Finucane every day of the week. Thank you, Dale, for everything you've done for Rugby League. It's a shame to see you go, mate, but family and health comes first, and I'm happy to see him go out the way he did.
Never scored a try for Cronulla either.
Doesn't matter, didn't he?
Doesn't matter. What he brings to us is worth more than points on the field.